You let those girls go! Lousy kidnapper!
Yeah, what you said!
I'm a Hashira, damn it!
Well, I don't acknowledge you as a Hashira!
Captain Forest here, and in today's video, I'm going to be power scaling Tanjiro from Demon Slayer. Now if you guys are new to my channel, please leave a like, comment down below, and of course subscribe for further content. But anyway, I'm going to go ahead and dive in and talk about Tanjiro. I've read all of Demon Slayer, and Tanjiro is one of my favourite characters. I think he's a great protagonist throughout the series. I figured I'd showcase some of his feats, scaling, and talk about what he's shown throughout the series. Now, in earlier chapters of Demon Slayer, Tanjiro undergoes rigorous training. He had passed all obstacles in his way except for one, and Tanjiro had to slice a boulder in half. Now, was Tanjiro able to do this? Absolutely. Tanjiro did just that. This feat itself was calced around the small building levels of attack potency. Tanjiro would go on to face one of the 12 Kiseki called Gyutaru. Gyutaru had different calcs for his feats. Gyutaru used his blood demon art to destroy a whole village, which was calced around the ranges of 0.5 tons, aka building, to 35 tons, aka city block level, to the 182 kilotons, aka large town level. Tanjiro had to amp himself by 100 times in order to one-shot Gyutaru's head. If we include the 100 times multiplier to this calc, then Tanjiro, as a low end, bump him up from building to city block to large town, and large town to city level as a high end. Very impressive. Now, near the final chapters of Demon Slayer, Tanjiro was able to slice off Muzan's arm. This is impressive because Muzan caused a small earthquake which was calced around the 1.4 megatons, aka small city level. So right off the bat, you have some very nice ranges for Tanjiro. So that's going to wrap up attack potency. I'm going to go ahead and move on and talk about speed. There is a direct speed feat performed by Tanjiro where he statue blitzes Tamriel and his balls with his raw speed alone. There were two calcs done for this, however, which range around the Mach 236 to Mach 3425, aka massively hypersonic plus, which is very impressive for Tanjiro. There are similar feats of this caliber, such as Tanjiro evading and tagging Akaza from behind, which was calced around the Mach 185 to the lower ends of Mach 18.51. Tanjiro would also scale to the feat that was performed by Senetsu, who blitzed Daki. This feat right here was calced around the Mach 509, aka massively hypersonic. This is very consistent as Senetsu's speed is described by Tanjiro as the sound of lightning striking. So all these ranges apply to Tanjiro. Now that's gonna wrap up speed. I'm gonna go ahead and move on and talk about some of Tanjiro's abilities. So Tanjiro is most known for his incredible sense of smell. Tanjiro's sense of smell is so keen that he was able to deduce that it was a cat that knocked over and broke a dish due to its scent lingering. His sense of smell isn't limited to just this, folks. Tanjiro was able to use his sense of smell to figure out where the traps were laid so he could try and invade them. Tanjiro can smell and detect enemies who hide from him. He can also smell your intentions, he can tell if you're lying, and also smell your emotions such as fear, anger, hatred, and sadness. Tanjiro can also smell different types of blood, and he can also tell if his opponents are demons based on the different smell they give off and due to their physiology. He can also determine if his opponents are stronger than him via the potency of their scent. With the use of total breathing concentration and constant concentration breathing control, which Tanjiro later on masters, Tanjiro is able to do many things. By controlling his breathing, he can increase his heart rate, blood flow, to increase his power and speed. He can also slow down the poison in his body and close his open wounds, and also recover his stamina in combat with just his breathing alone. Tanjiro, with his sense of smell, can reveal the opening thread, which reveals the weak spot in his opponent, which guides him to that point, allowing him to strike the weak spot to defeat the opponent. As Tanjiro develops, so does his abilities. He is able to fight on instincts and also use his sense of smell to predict his opponent's attacks. Now let's talk about the ability that Tanjiro knows called the Transparent World. Tanjiro experiences and awakens his use of the transparent world during his fight with Akaza, where he sees through his opponent's body, their blood flow, muscle contractions, and breathing to predict the opponent's movements. Transparent world increases the user's speed and awareness, making things appear slow to their perception. Tanjiro used this in order to bypass Akaza's compass by fighting with no fighting spirit in order to counteract his compass and cut his head off. Now, moving on to Tanjiro's skill and gear. Now, Tanjiro's weapon of choice is the Nichirin sword, which was forged by a blacksmith. The sword is forged with scarlet crimson, and sacred ore, which are items which have been bathed in sunlight. These weapons are effective in killing demons via decapitation due to the properties of the sword. Tanjiro wears a special uniform, it breathes easy and is resistant to fire and water. Even the claws and fangs from demons cannot rend the uniform. In the earlier chapters, Tanjiro was taught water breathing. Water breathing consists of 11 forms. Tanjiro knows 10 out of the 11 forms, as Gyu was the one that added the 11th form. The water breathing form works for different purposes, and I'll cover some of the forms in this video. Constant flux increases the potency and speed of the user when they strike their sword each time. Drop ripple thrust curve is a technique where Tanjiro thrusts his katana to stab and impale opponents. Whirlpool is used to spin around and drag opponents close by in order to slice them up. This technique is very effective when the user has no footing. Water wheel. The user spins around like a wheel with their sword in mid-air to attack opponents. Flowing dance is used to quickly and skillfully evade the opponent's attacks. Blessed rain after a drought is an attack that is used against non-resisting foes, essentially a mercy attack that kills the foe without them feeling any pain. Now there are other techniques as well, but they're pretty self-explanatory. They just have, again, different forms, different range of motions, and mainly used in awkward situations and situations where Tanjiro can apply it, but I will leave the rest of the forms for the water breathing on the screen. On to the 13 forms of sun breathing, which Tanjiro himself began learning and taking up the practice of sun breathing. Dance. The user performs a singular downward vertical slash in an arching motion. Dancing flash. A modified version of the dance developed and utilized only by Tanjiro. The user combines the fundamental technique of thunder breathing with the high-powered slash of dance by inhaling huge amounts of oxygen, increasing the pumping of blood through the entire body, focusing it on the legs, and releasing it all to assault the target with a slash. Clear blue sky. The user spins and twists their upper body in a circular motion, releasing a 360 slash. Raging sun. The user unleashes 2 consecutive horizontal arching slashes around themselves to strike incoming attacks. Burning bones. Summer sun. The user performs a singular slash, utilizing a spiraling motion which extends in front of themselves to defend from imminent frontal attacks. Setting sun transformation. The user backflips into the air before performing a singular horizontal slash which aims to decapitate the target. Solar heat haze. The user rushes forth, now attempting to deliver a strike seemingly enveloped in a heat haze, masking the true length and location of the blade to deliver an unexpected strike. Benevolent radiance. The user spirals into the air whilst performing a swirling slash upwards to strike the target. Sunflower thrust. The user performs a singular thrust utilizing the tip of their blade to strike the target. Sun Halo Dragon Head Dance. The user assumes a high stance before unleashing a consecutive slashes in a fluid motion in a form of a Japanese dragon made of solar flames. This technique is capable of decapitating multiple targets at once. Fire Wheel. The user flips into the air behind the opponent before unleashing a singular vertical slash in a circular motion to swiftly cut the target in half. Fake Rainbow. The user performs high-speed twists and rotations, creating after images that are primarily used for evading attacks. These after images are particularly effective against enemies with sharp vision. Flame Dance. A 2-strike combo which starts with a downward vertical slash, leaping into a horizontal slash right afterwards. And now, lastly, the 13th form. The user continuously performs all 12 forms of sun breathing in repetition to increase the accuracy and agility of its movements and attacks. This form was created solely for the purpose of killing Muzan, since the repetition of all 12 forms aims to destroy Muzan's 12 vital organs, 7 hearts and 5 brains that moves freely inside his body. In combat, Tanjiro has demonstrated to use his forms to fit whatever situation when combating enemies and demons. Tanjiro utilizes his smartness, sharpness, adaptation, and instincts in combat. He's shown to mix his water and sun breathing styles to further increase the complexity of his skills and stats. Demon Slayers are also known for their impressive traits, and that's their insane willpower, endurance, and stamina. Tanjiro has demonstrated feats of sprinting for an hour non-stop and also fighting non-stop without food, water and sleep for 7 days. Tanjiro has taken serious injuries, and despite these injuries, he will continue to fight while hurt. He was able to defeat a demon while suffering with a broken leg and ribs, and the time Muzan smashed his eye, Tanjiro used other senses and still fought despite such an injury, and later on, Tanjiro literally fights Muzan while a portion of his disfigured brain was hanging out of his eye socket. Lastly, another impressive moment for Tanjiro was when he was able to counter the unconscious hypnosis spell. Every time it affected Tanjiro, he would kill himself in the dream and reawaken. That's gonna round up all of Tanjiro. Essentially, Tanjiro has some really good AP feats for a street tier, easily ranging from small building, moving up to the large town level ranges or city block ranges, moving up to the small city and the city level ranges too. And as for speed, easily hypersonic speed and a lot of consistent lightning timer feats. Of course, you know, massively hypersonic plus, he's able to move at lightning speed and react at those speeds, which is very impressive. But anyway, thank you guys for watching. If you guys enjoyed this video, please leave a like, comment down below, and if you guys would like to see some Demon Slayer content, I'm more than happy to do so. Anyway, that's it for me. I'll see you guys in the next one. Peace.